All right, guys, it is time for us to explain my three favorite math theorems. The chord theorem, the second theorem, and the second tangent theorem.
All right, bet. Joe, we don't have time for this wake-up.
Where am I?
Just read off the script, Joe.
Okay, so the first theorem is the chord theorem, which is shown on the screen. The theorem states that if two chords intersect in a circle, then the products of the measures of the segments of the chords are equal.
What Joe is saying is that in this diagram, the segment HA times the segment of AJ will equal the segment of IA times the segment of AK, because HJ and IK are chords that intersect at point A.
Thanks, Donnie. Let's put this theorem into use.
Never call me that again.
In this problem, we can see that these two chords intersect, meaning that 6 times x equals 7 times 4. This means that we can set this up as an algebra equation by doing 6x equals 7 times 4.
Oh yeah, Barack, I remember this part. After that, we need to simplify 7 times 4 into 28. Then we have 6x equals 28. And lastly, we divide 28 by 6, which is 14 over 3, which means that x equals 14 over 3.
Wow, good job, Joe. I didn't think you could do math.
Come on, Don, we need to stay on script.
Sorry.
Okay, so next we have another practice problem. This one is a little more tricky.
Maybe for you, Joe, but I think they will be able to solve it.
Okay, well, if any of you guys get stuck, I will give you a hint. Pause now if you don't want it. If you do want it, then just keep the video playing.
Okay, guys, let's go over it. First, you start by setting up the equation, which is x distributed into 7 minus x equals 4 times 3.
Then you distribute and simplify.
Stop interrupting, Joe.
Okay, sorry. Continue, Barack.
No problem, Joe. Anyway, after you distribute and simplify, you should have negative x squared plus 7x equals 12. Then after that, like the hint said, you make the right side of the equation equal 0 by subtracting 12 from both sides. After that, you would turn the negative x squared to a positive x squared to make it easier to factor, and you do that by multiplying all of the values on both sides by negative 1. After all of that, you can factor by finding numbers that add up to negative 7, and when multiplied together equal 12, which are negative 3 and negative 4. When factored out, the answer is x minus 4 and x minus 3, and then you flip the signs, and then x equals either 3 or 4, and those are the two possible answers.
So does anyone have any questions?
Joe, this is a video. We can't answer any questions.
Oh, yeah, right.
Don't worry, if anyone has any questions, John Paul Gracia said he would answer them.
Okay, well, the second theorem is the secant theorem. This theorem states that if two seconds meet at a point outside of the circle, then the product of the two segments of the first secant line, PM and PL, is equal to the product of the two segments of the second secant line, PO and PN. Joe, wake up. It's your turn.
Okay, so let's try an example problem. First, you need to set up the equation, which is x distributed into x plus 5 equals 2 times the sum of 2 and 10. After that, you distribute and simplify. Then you have to follow the same steps in the chord theorem by making the right side of the equation equal 0, factoring, and getting the opposite of the factored answers. But you need to make sure that your answer is a positive, because length has to be positive.
Good job, Joe, but we are running out of time, so let's finish this quick.
I'm going to go find some ice cream.
Joe, you did enough. You can go. So on to the last theorem, the secant-tangent theorem.
The last theorem states that if a secant and a tangent intersect at a point outside of the circle, then the square of the measure of the tangent segment is equal to the product of the measures of the secant segment and its external secant segment.
Let's do an example. In this example, we set it up by squaring the tangent and having it equal to the product of the segments in the secant, multiplying the other two segments, which would be x squared equals 9, distributed into 9 plus 16. Then you simplify, which makes it x squared equals 225. And after that, you cancel the square by getting the square root of 225, which comes out to positive or negative 15. And because length is positive, the one answer is 15. And I think that is it.
Obama, how could you forget about the homework?
Oh yeah, right, Trump. You guys have 4 homework problems due tomorrow. If you need help, remember to ask John Paul Gracia. And subscribe to the Blazeman69 on YouTube. He is cool.